I was 3 steps from the stage when the scream cut through the commencement music like a blade. She faked every grade. My older sister Harper stood in the middle of the auditorium, finger aimed at me like a loaded gun. 4,000 people turned at once. Caps and gowns froze mid-applause. My mother's program slipped from her hand, fluttered to her mouth. My father looked like someone had pulled the plug on his heartbeat. And Harper? She was glowing, finally the star of a show that wasn't mine. Where are you watching from tonight? And if that had been you up there, diploma in hand, life unraveling in real time, what would you have done? I'm Riley Quinn, and this is the day my sister tried to burn my future down in front of everyone I loved, and how I made sure the flames only consumed her. Growing up in Tacoma, Harper was the sun. Teachers orbited her, cousins repeated her jokes. Even our dog followed her from room to room. I was the moon, quiet, reflective, happy to borrow her light. I braided her hair for prom. She never once braided mine. That was the deal. I stayed small. She stayed brilliant. Then high school happened. My report card started coming home heavier than hers. Colleges sent thick envelopes addressed to me, thin ones to her. The night I got the full ride to Northwestern, Harper hugged me so hard I felt my ribs creak, then whispered, "Must be nice to be the lucky one." The word lucky landed like a splinter. College split us geographically, but the real distance was slower, colder. I thrived, research lab, dean's list, the works. Harper dropped out of her master's program after 1 semester and moved back into our parents' basement. Every holiday, she watched me talk about internships and publications the way you watch someone eat food you can no longer afford. The smiles got thinner, the jokes sharper. Then the sabotage started, soft as snowfall. First, my tuition remission check came up $4,200 short. Financial aid swore I'd requested the difference be sent to a different bank account. I hadn't. Next, a professor I'd never met emailed about a no-show tutoring session I'd apparently booked, then canceled. After that, a plagiarism flag on a paper I'd bled over for weeks. Each incident was small enough to explain away, large enough to leave bruises on my reputation. My roommate Sasha found me at 3 a.m. staring at my laptop, deleting and redeleting the same sentence. "Someone's messing with you, Ree," she said. I laughed it off. Because the alternative was admitting my own sister might hate me enough to dismantle my life one forged email at a time. But doubt is a slow acid. I stopped sleeping. I refreshed my student portal like it might confess. And every time I went home, Harper asked about school with wide, innocent eyes while tracing circles on the tablecloth with her fork, exactly the way she did when we were kids and she was lying about breaking Mom's vase. The night I found the smoking gun, I almost threw up. A friend from the cybersecurity club owed me a favor. 2 days later, he slid a USB drive across a campus cafe table. Logins to your portal, your email, your scholarship account. Someone's been remote accessing everything from an IP in Tacoma. Same house as your parents' Wi-Fi. I didn't need to say her name. We both knew who still used our childhood home like a command center. I hired a lawyer the next morning. Graduation was 6 weeks away. I spent them building a fortress out of screenshots, bank records, IP logs, and a sworn statement from the investigator. I sealed everything in a manila envelope and slept with it under my pillow, like a loaded weapon. The morning of commencement, I taped that envelope beneath my assigned seat on stage, row A, seat 22, then walked into the arena, wearing my gown like armor. My family sat third row center. Mom waved frantically. Dad looked proud enough to burst. Harper wore red, so bright it hurt to look at, like she'd dressed for a coronation instead of my graduation. The ceremony dragged. Speeches, pomp, circumstance. My name was near the end of the alphabet, which gave Harper all the time in the world to pick her moment. She waited until I was literally 3 steps from the dean. The chair screeched. Her voice exploded. She faked every grade. She stole money. She doesn't deserve to be up there. Phones rose like periscopes. The music died. You could hear my heartbeat in the rafters. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I finished walking to the podium, shook the dean's hand, took my diploma, and leaned close enough to whisper, "Envelope under A22." Everything's in there. His eyes flicked to Harper, still ranting, then back to me. He gave the smallest nod. Security was already moving, by the time I stepped off stage. The mood had flipped. People weren't staring at me anymore. They were staring at the sister unraveling in 4K on 100 phone screens. Harper realized it too late. "Why isn't anyone listening?" she shrieked. "She's the liar." A professor in the front row muttered, "Sit down, young lady." Someone else started slow clapping, for me. They escorted Harper out while she screamed my name like a curse. The doors closed behind her with a soft, final click. Backstage, the dean handed me my envelope, now stamped and official. "The board meets tomorrow," he said quietly. "This ends here." It did. Within 10 days, Harper was permanently trespassed from campus. The redirected scholarship money was recovered, and every false complaint was struck from my record. My parents aged 10 years in a week. Dad's voice cracked over the phone. "We didn't protect you." "I'm so sorry, Riley." I moved into a tiny studio in Seattle, got a rescue dog who thinks he's a cat, and started my master's, on my terms, with my name only. Harper? Last I heard, she's still telling anyone who'll listen that I framed her. No one's listening anymore. Some betrayals cut so deep the only way to heal is to cauterize. I didn't shout back that day. I just let the truth do it for me. Quiet, documented, and unbreakable. If someone you love ever aimed for your throat wearing a smile, know this: you don't have to bleed in public to win. Sometimes the loudest victory is walking off stage with your head high and the proof already in motion. Drop your city in the comments. Where are you fighting your own quiet war tonight? I read every single one. And if you want to hear what happened when Harper showed up at my door 6 months later begging for forgiveness, smash subscribe. That story's even wilder.